Hello everyone, this is Mr. Lipchick, and our discussion today is going to be about financing world economic development. You might ask, why does the developed world want to finance the development of the less developed world? It will create more political stability, for one thing, and it will also create economic opportunities for the developed world in the long term. A key issue for the economic development of less developed countries, or LDCs, is how to finance the creation of capital. Two methods are available to LDCs for this purpose. One is internal financing, that is, financing derived from the savings of a country's citizens. And another is foreign investment, and this is investment originating from other countries. Internal financing is an option that is often not available to LDCs. Because of high levels of poverty, the population is unable to create savings, which banks can invest in businesses through loans. Because of the instability of the political and economic situations of many LDCs, the wealthy elites of those countries invest their money in foreign banks. And due to the lack of internal financing, LDCs most often turn to foreign investment in order to develop their economies. There are two types of foreign investment available to LDCs: foreign direct investment, or FDI, and foreign portfolio investment. Foreign direct investment is the establishment of an enterprise by a foreigner. This is, for instance, building factories in LDCs, merging with existing firms in LDCs, and entering into partnerships with firms in LDCs. Often, direct development in LDCs takes place through multinational corporations, or MNCs. Some examples of multinationals are there to your right. Multinational corporations are attracted to LDCs in search of profits. LDCs may have cheap natural resources and low prevailing wages. Some multinational corporations benefit the economies of LDCs by providing jobs. However, many are capital intensive. That is, most of the work is done by machine. Multinational corporations have been criticized for unethical behaviors that they cannot get away with in developed nations. For instance, polluting the natural environment, low wages, child labor, and unethical treatment of workers. Very recently on television, you probably saw something about the collapse of buildings in India that Walmart was using for garment production, killing hundreds of Indian women there. Foreign portfolio investment is the entry of funds into a country when foreigners purchase stocks and bonds from an LDC. These purchases provide investment capital that the government or private enterprise may use to pay for the nation's development. These funds can lead to increased productivity of its citizens. Foreign aid, or direct grants to LDCs by developed nations, is another method for helping them to develop economically. Often it is motivated by humanitarian reasons and provides for the building of schools, hospitals, and sanitation projects. Frequently, however, foreign aid is tied to the military or political interests of the industrialized nation or developed nation. After World War II, for example, the Soviet Union rivaled the U.S. for influence over war-torn Europe, and therefore the U.S. created the Marshall Plan, named for its founder, General George C. Marshall, giving billions of dollars to Western European nations to rebuild. They were fearful that if they were too poor, they would turn to communism. Marshall Plan resulted in a revived market economy in Western Europe and many trading partners for the U.S. Institutions such as the World Bank also provide aid to LDCs for their economic development. The World Bank is the largest provider of development assistance in the world. The World Bank offers loans and assistance to LDCs financed by financial markets and wealthier member nations. The United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, is the United Nations program dedicated to the elimination of poverty through development. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, is another international institution that provides assistance to LDCs. The International Monetary Fund is an organization formed to stabilize international exchange rates and facilitate development. One strategy used by the IMF is debt rescheduling, which involves lengthening the term or the forgiving of foreign debts in return for the LDC accepting an IMF Stabilization Program. The Stabilization Program is an agreement between the IMF and the LDC to change its economic policies to provide incentives for export earnings and to lower imports. By increasing imports, loans can be paid back in foreign currency, making the loan repayment easier. Criticisms of IMF stabilization programs include they often require lifting of wage and price controls, causing wages to go down and prices to go up. They sometimes include cuts in government spending on food, health, and education programs. And stabilization programs can decrease domestic consumption in order to increase exports. That was our presentation. I hope to see you in the live lesson, and have a great day.